Summer is a time when kids are out of school, and that means they're participating in a lot of activities that maybe aren't typical: sports, swimming, lots of other outdoor fun. But David Gambel, the sports medicine director for Children's Hospital in New Orleans, joins us with some helpful tips for keeping children safe as they're maybe a bit more active. David, good morning to you. What are some of the common sports injuries?
Good morning, John. Thank you for having us today. So over the summertime, a lot of what we see with some injuries for our young kids has to deal with the heat and the sun. So we want to make sure that we're protecting them from that. Not only that, just like you said, there's a lot of busy activities. Summer is a busy time for our kids, and we constantly keep them going. So a lot of activities, keeping them on the move. So got to be aware of that.
And obviously, when it comes to hydration, that's an area where people in your line of work and coaches have paid a lot of attention because of summer football practices, that sort of thing. You can really get in a lot of trouble in a hurry if you're not careful with the heat.
Absolutely. And it's not only just hydration, it's also nutrition. So you want to make sure that our little ones are eating a balanced diet before and after activity. But hydration is key, not only before and after activity, but during activity. The heat can get to us quickly, especially in the summer months. We are all from New Orleans. We understand that it can sneak up quickly in these next few months. It is going to be very hot. And there's no avoiding that. So making sure that you're hydrated before and after, taking plenty of rest breaks throughout your activity, and drinking plenty of fluids, plenty of water can make you stay out in the activity a little bit longer.
This is such an important issue when it comes to hydration and avoiding getting into a problem. When do you know that either an adult looking at somebody or somebody who's a young person who's involved in this, at what point do you start to say, okay, wait a minute, I'm not just exhausted, there's an issue here with, heat issues?
Absolutely. It does come up on you quick, but some things to really look out for, not only for parents, coaches, camp counselors, to look out for, but also to advocate. Make sure your kids are advocating for themselves and communicating with those adults. Typically, they just start off not feeling well. Maybe they don't look well. They're slowing down a little bit. Sometimes between fatigue or some nausea, some vomiting, or headache, there's a lot of different signs that they can start exhibiting. But when they start showing those signs, it's important to remove them from the heat, try to get them in a nice, cool, shaded area, try to have them start sipping some water or some sports drinks, just to kind of get those symptoms to resolve and make sure it doesn't turn into a bigger heat illness.
And look, as kids, we ran around all hours of the day, never thought about it, but there actually are times, especially in the summer heat in New Orleans, where it's best to kind of avoid the outdoors if you can, or at least make sure you've got water.
Absolutely. So the middle part of the day, probably from about 10 in the morning till about 3 in the afternoon, is really a crucial time where the sun and the temperature can really affect our little ones and even the adults. So you want to make sure, try to avoid activity if at all possible during that time. Sometimes you can't, right? So when activity does need to take place during that window, it's important to make sure you're hydrating, making sure you're taking frequent rest breaks, and try to keep yourself cool and hydrated.
All right, David Gambel, good information to keep in mind. We appreciate it, David, with Children's Hospital. Thanks.
Thank you.